Can you imagine spending your entire life in a tiny room without ever being able to leave? Welcome to your forever home.
Forever.
There are a number of under 1 gallon Betta fish aquariums on the market, which create low quality conditions for bettas to endure their entire lives. While major US pet retailers are no longer offering these kits, these tanks are still sold at small and medium scale pet stores and non-pet retailers across the US and in other countries. Why is it okay for reputable brands to be selling these tanks? These companies are misleading consumers. It doesn't mean that you're a bad pet owner if you purchase one of these tanks. These kits have images of betta fish on the packaging, and they're advertised as suitable environments. So a lot of people buy them thinking that they'd be ideal for bettas. Which is why these under 1 gallon betta fish aquariums should be discontinued, and the brands making and selling them need to be held to a higher standard. Companies like Aqueon, Marina, which is owned by Hagen Group, and Penn-Plax Pet Products are among the brands still manufacturing under 1 gallon betta fish aquariums. We can consider these more prominent brands because their products are sold by big and small retailers across the US and abroad. In the low water volume, water conditions change rapidly, which can be really stressful for fish, and waste and toxins will become much more concentrated sooner than in a larger tank. A lot of people think that small tanks are easier to maintain, but they actually require much more frequent water changes than bigger tanks in order to keep conditions tolerable for fish. Bettas need a heater and filter and a lot of environmental enrichment like plants and hiding spaces to create a stimulating environment where they have room to swim and express their natural behavior. No expert or authority would even advise aquariums under 1 gallon for betta fish long term. PetSmart suggests 3 gallons minimum. PetMD advises at least 10 gallons. And even Aqueon writes in its own Betta Fish Tank Setup blog post, bettas need a tank with plenty of space to swim and thrive. Companies might want to profit from these tanks, but they don't want to be known for making or selling them. What if these became just as harmful to their brand images as they are to betta fish? To many people, these tanks are infamous. They have motivated petitions, and social media users have included them in their content as examples of harmful aquariums, and there have even been legal efforts to address them. According to a 2018 article in the Oregonian, there was a class action lawsuit against several companies promoting tiny betta fish tanks. The article states, "The lawsuits urge a judge to bar the sale of betta fish aquariums of less than 1.5 gallons, contending they don't provide healthy housing for the fish and cause them to die much sooner than if kept in a larger aquarium." What's interesting is that it alleged the companies are engaged in unlawful trade practices through deceptive advertising and profiting from faulty merchandise. While the outcome of the case is not discussed, this goes to show how tiny betta fish aquariums have presented a problem for companies, and they will continue to present a problem, especially in time as our knowledge about proper care grows. Here's an example of how bad these look for brands. In July 2022, pet retailer Chewy removed the under 1 gallon aquariums from its inventory in response to consumer pressure online.
Wait. They listed both under 1 gal tanks as no longer available.
In fact, in 2022, we saw a movement happening in the US pet industry where major US pet retailers stated that they have stopped or will stop selling under 1 gallon aquariums. This needs to become the new standard so that no store, especially not a pet store, is still offering under 1 gallon betta fish aquariums. Tiny betta kits will eventually do more harm than good for businesses, and whatever short-term profit they might offer is not worth the long-term risk to their brand images. Please share your thoughts and your observations. Have you seen any under 1 gallon Betta fish kits at your local stores, or have you had one yourself for a Betta? Thank you for listening and being part of this conversation.